remember saying something like,
I feel a little bit lightheaded. Maybe someone else should fly.
Suddenly, there was a terrible roar all around me, and the sky was full of what looked like Marie sharps, all delicious and wanting to be dabbed on my in-flight meal. There was this voice asking, do we have any of those tamales left over?
Huh? Never mind. It's your turn to fly.
No point in mentioning Marie sharps, I thought. We'd be in Belize soon enough. We had a pack of cookies, some apples, a mostly empty 2-liter of soda, and a whole variety of chips that we would never give to any of the passengers. Not that we needed all that for the trip, but once you get locked in a plane in flight, the tendency is to have as much as you can. The only thing that really worried me were the chips. There is nothing more irresponsible than a guy eating chips covered in flavor powder while they try to fly a plane. And I knew I'd get into that rotten stuff pretty soon. Work trips hinge on a few things for me. Sorry, hold on. There we go. Work trips hinge on a few things for me. 1, everything goes smoothly. They don't have to go right, just smooth. 2, I can have enough time for a free day. This usually means I can evaluate all the work that will get done before needing to leave. And 3, especially for Belize, there are others coordinating excursions I can join on that free day. Sometimes you can get all of these, and sometimes you just get one of them. This trip to Belize would stress test the needs of the professional side of this trip and my desire to see and do new things while there. But I still came away with experiences to share. To start things off on the trip, everyone was under COVID restrictions. Luckily, I did not have to get a test to prove I was healthy before leaving. I just needed proof of vaccination. I also needed to purchase mandatory COVID health insurance for my trip. It was affordable, so, whatever. Then, Monday morning, I got down to the airport for a 6 a.m. flight, got on that plane, and that plane, full of people, sat at the gate for well over an hour, slowly heating all of us to an uncomfortable point. Downfall 1. Needless to say, we never took off that day. Yet the airline wanted me to sit at the airport for who knows how long for them to fix the plane and then travel to my first stop, being Atlanta, Georgia. But my connecting flight had probably already left Atlanta by that point, so I told them that it didn't make sense for me to go to Atlanta and need to stay overnight for the next flight to Belize, as I did not trust them to properly take care of me. I wanted to be put on the flight the next day, but that one was full, and I would have to wait until Wednesday's flight. Fine, whatever. While that didn't ruin my ability to do my job, it really put a time crunch on me to be able to do other things outside of work in Belize. Anyway, I make it down to Belize and get set up in the hotel, the Radisson, same as last time. While it is not the closest hotel to the office I would be working on in this trip, it's where people from my work stay, so. Once loaded into my room, I got a taxi to take me across town to the office, and I got the gentleman's card so I could call him for pickups throughout the week. Downfall 2. This taxi driver was never free for pickups, basically for the rest of my time there. Until, that is, I needed a ride back to the airport, and then I was able to catch a ride with him because the hotel shuttle was unavailable, and he was waiting outside the hotel. Luckily, when I needed to get around for job-related tasks, the locals I was working with were gracious enough to give me rides. Now you may ask, Joe, why don't you just rent a car? Honestly, I don't remember what the exact reason was, but I didn't feel comfortable doing it at the time. If I'd go again, I think I'd rent a car. Day one is usually a lot of physical work, setting up devices, which is what I got accomplished. And for the evening, I met up with my friend and co-worker at Midtown Restaurant and Bar. No pictures of my meal, apparently. It appears I was off my travel video production game. Yet, on the return trip, I did take a picture of my meal in the Atlanta airport. Riveting. The next morning, I started with breakfast at the Radisson. It's always good with fresh fruit, an array of prepared foods, and a cook who does all sorts of items for you on the grill. To drink, I chose to try out sour sop because I liked the label. And I will say, while good, a little goes an extremely long way. Maybe this should be for mixing with other things. Did I have any rum? Now, if I would have just had time to go to the rum distillery on the... I discovered as my time went by that the hotel was a bit slower than it was last time I visited. The secondary pool was under maintenance, the outside restaurant was closed, and I don't believe they hosted any bands on site. So there wasn't much going on there for me to partake in either. While I didn't have much time off in Belize, I did have an afternoon to myself, which I figured I'd return to the local museum to see the Jade Room, which was under maintenance last time I visited. I love Mayan artifacts. I really wanted to see that room. Downfall 3. The second floor was almost completely different. Gone were the Mayan exhibits, and now it was a large art exhibit of Pen Caetano, which I enjoyed very much. While I didn't go to the museum for this, it was a very pleasant surprise. Now, again, since this was COVID times, I needed a test to return to the US. So within 48 hours or something like that of me leaving, I went to the clinic that offered the service. It was interesting, and for the sake of not being a problem, I did not take any pictures or video of it. But the whole process was outside. The person who assisted with the test was behind what I would describe as a walk-up bank teller window with a little drawer that pops out with all the tools for me to use. They described the process and watched to make sure I did it correctly, and then took the sample back through the drawer. You know, it was fast and efficient, and I got my results in plenty of time for my flight. No problems. This trip to Belize did not go as planned, obviously. Nor did I get to go out and see many new things like I was hoping. But I made new friends and acquaintances whom I would love to see again if I'm sent back in that direction in the near future. While that kind of chance may be low, at least it's not zero. There was only one flight back to Wisconsin through Atlanta, just a flat-out high-speed flight over the Yucatan and Gulf of Mexico, then onto Appalachia and straight north into Midwest oblivion. Safety. Just another guy.